He was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Gervonta Davis is pushing his training to the limit as he goes head-to-head with heavyweights in sparring before his fight with Jake Paul. Davis isn't holding anything back. He's been testing his power against much bigger men in the ring. One of the sessions got so intense that the heavyweight was reportedly shaken after Davis landed a powerful shot.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
Gervonta Davis is grabbing attention again, this time by taking on heavyweight fighters during tough sparring sessions. Known for his explosive power in the lightweight and super lightweight classes, Tank is showing that size doesn't affect his strength. In new footage, he's seen throwing fast, accurate combinations that keep even bigger opponents off balance. The way he controls the pace, avoids punches, and fires back shows how serious his training is. Every move proves his sharpening not just his power but also his stamina to face stronger opponents, which will be key in his upcoming fight with Jake Paul.
Look like you're playing pool with a short stick. Oh, let me swing him. Punch when he punch, yeah. Punch when he punch. Punch when he punch. Yep. They ain't stopped firing. We slowed down. Now we're gonna commence firing again. That's what we do. We reload and come back. Yeah, you ain't gotta get close, Tank, because we know you're scared to get close. Get close, Tank. Keep rolling, girl. All the way down the road. Come to me, baby.
Even with the clear size difference between Davis and his sparring partners, Tank keeps testing himself against fighters who weigh much more. These sessions aren't about domination, but about accuracy. He's learning to manage distance, control rhythm, and keep his trademark explosiveness while under pressure from heavier men. His team says this training helps him master angles and timing needed to handle Jake Paul's awkward boxing style. Davis knows Jake's main advantage is size, so by facing heavyweights now, he's removing that pressure early. It's a smart, confident plan to prepare for every situation once the bell rings.
Here's a clip of Gervonta Tank Davis releasing footage of him training and sparring with the heavyweight ahead of his showdown with YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul that's set to take place November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. Tank Davis is 5'4" and he weighs in at 135. His last fight, he actually was 133 pounds. Jake Paul is 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach, and he weighed in at 199 pounds his last fight, and fight before that, he weighed in at 224 pounds. Gervonta Tank Davis has a 67-inch arm reach. This is why this fight has to be ruled an exhibition and not a real professional boxing match, because no boxing commission would sanction it. Let me know what y'all think about this. As you see, Tank Davis is using and working on movement. Let me know. I'm gone. Peace.
Former UFC fighter and analyst Chael Sonnen said that Gervonta Davis carries boxing's reputation on his shoulders in this fight. Sonnen explained that no matter what Jake Paul has done to bring attention to boxing, it's now Tank's job to remind people what real boxing looks like. For Sonnen, this fight isn't just competition, it's a message. Davis wants to prove that timing, skill, and years of experience still mean more than social media fame. Sonnen said Tank's goal is to shut down the circus around Jake by letting his fists talk. A knockout would be more than a win. It would remind everyone what real boxing is.
Which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8 pounds.
As fight week approaches, reports confirm that Davis has been training with heavyweight fighters in camp. These sessions are far from easy. They're full contact tests that push Tank to his limits. His coaches say the goal is to make fight night feel smoother by facing harder challenges in training. Sparring bigger men forces him to sharpen defense, move his head faster, and learn to create power against larger bodies. Each round boosts his confidence, proving that even against stronger fighters, Davis's timing and accuracy make the difference. It's a rare but smart tactic that shows how seriously he's taking Jake Paul. Famed boxing trainer Teddy Atlas praised Gervonta Davis as one of the most talented and dangerous fighters in the sport today. Atlas said that while some fans talk about Jake Paul's size advantage, it won't matter once the fight starts. He believes Davis's experience against elite opponents gives him an edge Jake can't match. Atlas pointed out that Tank has faced every type of boxer: counterpunchers, pressure fighters, tall opponents, and defensive masters. Jake's record, however, lacks real boxing veterans. According to Atlas, people who ask what if Jake lands one shot miss the point. Davis's ability to stay calm under pressure sets him apart from entertainers in the ring.
Do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else, that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that, it's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Bang! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Customato told me he loves Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense.
Analyst Max Kellerman shared a personal view on Tank's mindset, saying Davis took the Jake Paul fight partly for financial stability and more family time. After non-stop training camps and title fights, Tank wanted a matchup that offered excitement and a big payout for some breathing room. Kellerman said Davis has been thinking about slowing his career, focusing on family and mental balance. The Jake Paul fight, he believes, is more than business. It's a shift in his journey. It gives Davis a big stage to enjoy the rewards of his career while showing he's still one of the most dangerous fighters when he steps in the ring.
You got a guy like Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like, I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a cash out.
During the press tour, analysts Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora noticed the difference between both fighters. Jake Paul played the promoter, talking loudly, hyping the fight, and using charm to attract fans. Davis stayed calm, quiet, and uninterested in the back and forth. Mannix said Jake knows how to sell a fight, but Davis knows how to win one. Mora added that Tank's silence shows focus, not weakness. Both agreed that when the talking ends and the lights come on, Tank's skill and raw power will speak louder than anything said before.
And even though Jake Paul tried to egg him on and try to goad Gervonta Davis on, he's dealing with somebody that is not a quick-witted, thinker. He's not a quick-witted speaker. Tank Davis is explosive in the ring. He's fast and powerful in the ring. He's charismatic inside the ring when he's punching. But when you put a microphone in front of him, he's not articulate. He doesn't know how to quickly respond to people. He stutters a lot. He does more stuttering than talking. So Gervonta Davis in front of a microphone is not going to sell. So Tank Davis shouldn't be put in a podium like that. He should have speakers for him. He should have someone talking for him. He should have a mouthpiece. Tank Davis is not going to sell this fight. And Jake Paul knows it. That's the reason he kept throwing jabs at him. He tried to get Tank out of his shell. Tank's not quick verbally enough. He's not quick-witted. He's not quick with the tongue. So in order for him to sell this fight, he's going to have an adversary that can spit something back. Like, for instance, Chavez Jr., he didn't have that quick-witted response, but he had the backing. He had the loyal following. And Chavez Jr., like many Mexicans, don't need to speak because they do all their fighting in the ring, and people know that. Tank Davis, I don't know, man. He didn't look good in his last fight. He's not fighting the killers in his division. People are getting off that Tank train, and we know that he's had his issues outside the ring. The love's not there anymore. Tank Davis is losing a lot of passion, a lot of followers, and people aren't buying this circus that Jake Paul's trying to sell. And I'm glad that people are getting off this train. The commission in Georgia got off this damn train. That's why they had to move this fight to Florida, where anything could happen.
Former champion Tim Bradley revealed that Davis had limited options before signing to fight Jake Paul. He said Tank first wanted a rematch with Lamont Roach, but talks failed. With few major fights available and promoter pressure building, the Jake Paul deal became the most realistic choice. Bradley explained that while some see it as risky, it gives Tank huge exposure and a big payday. He noted that fans don't realize how much goes into these deals. Management, timing, and networks all play parts. Bradley believes that no matter how it happened, Davis will make the most of it and prove he's still world class.
I do. I'm not making no excuses for Tank at all, but this is just my perspective, man. Tank had no other choice but to do this fight, man. He had no other choice. He was in training for that Lamont Rose fight, and, then the covers got pulled off, and then this fight came about. You know, this is an inside thing, man. I swear, man, I'm telling y'all, this is an inside thing. You know, this is something that Al, PBC wanted Canelo to do, you know, because this is how they eat. This is how they gonna eat. This is how they gonna recoup, you know. As you know, PBC, they got no legs to stand on, man. You know, money going out, not enough money coming in. They got to spend their own bread, you know, for everything, you know, for everything. So, you know, they need money coming in. And their guy, Canelo, left. He with Turkey now. They wanted Canelo to do this fight. And now Tank is obligated to do this fight, man. Again, to save PBC. I promise y'all, man. I'm telling you. You know, Tank was already signed up to fight Roach rematch. He was already signed up, you know. You could just tell, man. I can tell, you know. Yesterday, listening to the press conference, I saw, like, I don't know what it was. It was something with Jalen Love, and it's like a secret. I don't know what that is. It's a secret, though.
After the press conference, some fans began wondering if Gervonta Davis was truly focused on the Jake Paul fight. They noticed his calm attitude, quiet face, and lack of response to Jake's taunts. Some took it as focus, others as boredom. The size difference between them also sparked debate about fairness. Many fans expected Tank to be more vocal, but he stayed composed, maybe saving energy for fight night. Still, those close to him say his silence isn't lack of interest. It's part of his preparation. He's simply not wasting energy on drama that doesn't win fights.
Jake Paul legitimately cooked Gervonta Davis in that press conference, and I really don't know how to feel about that. And to be honest with you, I still don't understand how boxing even allowed this to be made. Like, I don't. Like, dog, this is not an overstatement. Like, literally one of the core pillars holding up boxing is like this literal, like, fake superiority complex that they have over literally every other combat sport. Despite literally being the least effective main combat sport there is. Brother, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, brother, I put judo over I put boxing. In terms of practicality of combat, oh yeah, 100%. Brother, if Jake Paul makes it competitive against Gervonta Davis, I'm looking at this like, brother. Oh, well, weight difference, brother. Gervonta Davis has been training his entire life. I'm sorry, bro. It's bad enough that the fact that if this was under any other combat sport, this would literally be like one of the most one-sided matchups of all time. And it wouldn't be in favor of Davis. No, dog, if you did this under an MMA rule set, oh my gosh, bro, Paul cooks Gervonta. It's not close at all. Like round one finish level. Like, understand this, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul is taking place in literally the only combat sport where Davis should win. I'm still shocked that they allowed it to be made. Because, like, there's no upside. If Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis, now we're kind of looking like, wait a minute. What? Like, brother, don't forget. I still think it's a horrible look that Tyson Fury couldn't finish Francis Ngannou. That is so bad. Well, Francis Ngannou's a great boxer. Francis Ngannou, no joke, is one of the worst boxers to ever be in the UFC. He just has absurd power. No, look at the technique of Francis Ngannou. It's not that good. It's carried by power. Like, going into it, like, I'm hyped, but it's also, I'm looking at this like, bro, Gervonta has to finish, bro.
While Jake Paul has often been blamed for turning boxing into entertainment, some critics are now pointing at Davis. They say by agreeing to fight Jake, Tank might be supporting the influencer boxing scene he once spoke against. Fans who wanted him to face real contenders feel let down, calling this fight more about show than legacy. Others defend him, saying boxing has always mixed sport with spectacle. For Davis, it's about proving that skill and authenticity still matter. If he beats Jake Paul convincingly, it could silence critics and remind everyone that real boxing always stands above the hype.
Jake Paul is not the problem with boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates coming soon.